So I'm here again with Greg Terry, and I told you in the community chat that we were going to be about to start something big, and we're starting something big. So, Greg, it's time for me to put my hat back on. And now, if you remember, if you were watching this back in December, we went through a significant fundraiser where we started on Christmas Day and we thought, well, let's just do this for Christmas Day. And then we thought, well, let's keep it going. And a week later, there was about $100,000. About 10 days later, we were up to about $125,000 for your giving. And this was absolutely amazing. So let's roll back the clock before Christmas Day. So about a week before Christmas, I called Greg because we had been talking about some other things. And I said, "Hey, I have this idea. I wonder if we could create a direct like Amazon giving link, like direct into Ukraine, like why can't we create something like that?" Turned out that logistically that wasn't going to work. We tried that, we tried Poland, and then eventually we settled on, well, he's here in Pennsylvania. Let's have the link go direct to him. They'll ship it, they'll move it over, and but it worked because we could identify exactly the things that they needed on the front line. And yeah, so that became this interesting mix where there was communities that formed, it coalesced around Greg. And so Johnny Pierce had interviewed him a week before I found him. And then so between myself and Johnny and then Rick and then Warthog, and like the thing just snowballed. Okay. So that's where we were in December. Tell us about where we are today, Greg, and what we're
Well,
about to do. This is
in
pretty awesome.
December, it is awesome, and thank you, Dr. G. In December, so what we ended up doing was almost 80,000, 78 and change, almost $80,000 worth of Amazon gear that I know many of you guys have been watching and you have seen your love delivered directly to the front lines, and we
Mhm.
only hand off hand to hand. Here you call it ruku veruku, and we give it hand to hand, and you guys, it's just been like a ball of energy. And then we discovered other people like a Pete who went viral with his video, and we began to form all of these, we call it a big family, trying to stand for truth and do what's right here in Ukraine. So as of right now, I think the numbers came in last night. Since our December 25th, Christmas Day, put on the elf hat and let's roll, $235,000 have been
Hey,
donated.
it's just that's just amazing. Like we never thought that when we were coming up with this Amazon link thing for Christmas. I mean, yeah, that is just remarkable. By the way, if they want to see the biggest deliveries, they should go
Mhm.
back about what, 4 days and
Um,
to see
so
some of these.
yeah, go back probably about 10 days ago from now, you'll see the 3rd Assault Brigade,
Mhm.
2nd Rifle Battalion. We dropped $56,000 worth of gear in one day. So,
So that's on Greg Terry's channel
mhm,
at Greg Terry Experience.
yeah.
So if you want to make sure you go back and see that, because that's your love in action, and it's hard to estimate how many lives you will have saved with tourniquets and chest seals and gauze and all these other things that you're providing. Okay, so tell us what's about to happen now.
Well, let's just finish this story. From there, you assigned me he gives me homework. He's the professor. And then all I do is
I'm
work.
notorious for giving
Yeah,
homework.
it's
That's
brutal.
true.
So we started collecting information. What were some of the biggest needs on the front lines? Next thing you know, we're buying stretchers and sleds and metal detectors and batteries and antennas and radio controllers and all of these things. And we're doing it successfully. When I say we, that is all of us around the world working together. That's what we
Mhm.
means. It's not me, it's not Dr. Gerdes, it's not our organization, it's we. And we are doing an amazing job helping Ukraine. Well, the next thing
Okay,
you
let me
know,
interrupt you for just
go
a
ahead.
second. Okay. So on the original Amazon link, we had things like that were desired by the soldiers, thermals, what do you call the hood,
Balaclavas, tourniquets,
balaclavas,
chest
chest
seals,
seals, tourniquets, right? And they all needed all those things, right?
IFAKs. Hmm.
Right. But when you got there, we were saying, hey, let's find out exactly what the most immediate needs are. And that led to a second round, which was, you said batteries and
Metal
metal detectors. What else?
detectors, metal detectors, batteries, antennas, stretchers, sleds, you name it. I mean, it's been crazy to be quite honest. But
Okay.
we're meeting the need right there.
And now we're meeting a big need, right?
Now,
So tell us about.
well, there's two big needs on the front line right now. One we can do something about. The second one we cannot. They need, of course, munition. We can't do that. That's governmental activity and defense corporations. But the medics and the heroes on the front lines risking their lives every day, this is their number one request. We need armored vehicles. We are losing our heroes, even when we pull them off of the zero line when they've been injured, because as we are exiting to get to the stabilization point, we're pulling them out. And you guys have seen it, what vehicles these soldiers are having to drive in unarmored vehicles. And we're losing our medics, we're losing our heroes at moments when it shouldn't happen if we had an armored vehicle. So, why not?
Well, I see. It seems like this is a big ask. So tell us about what we're going to be doing. What's the next step? Show us
Well,
what we need to.
let's do this. You know, Dr. Gerdes, if you and I would have been sitting on December the 25th or the week before talking about this, we honestly were thinking, okay, if we could, Greg's heading back over. So I've been here for 3 months, guys, and I will go home, see my family, go to a couple doctor's appointments, and I will come right back to facilitate this project. This is going to be hands on. I'm not abandoning anything. This is going to be all of us working together, and I'll be your eyes and ears and your hands and your feet here. But if you had told me in December that come March, we would be transitioning to purchasing armored vehicles for heroes, I would have laughed at you. We were hoping for $5,000 or $10,000 and 100 tourniquets. I
Yep.
guess we underestimated the power of the people.
So I knew that there was pent up desire to help. Like people really, really, really wanted the desire to help, but I didn't realize that the resources out there were that enormous, and they really are. And now we're just leveling up our game. Like if you like, not like if you can build it, they will come, but just like let's shoot bigger. Let's try to help even more. What more can we do? So tell us what more we're about to do.
Well, let's do this. I put together a 3 minute little promo video. 2 minutes, we'll be talking about the vehicles that we hope this week to put the down payment on. I mean, it's going to happen because we know the world is going to rally around this. And we've got some good news already. Um,
Mhm.
but let me show this video. 2 minutes about the snatch, and then 1 minute with whom many of you know, Pete, the medic out there on the front lines, giving his 2 cents. Here you go. Now, here's the interesting thing. When this project was being birthed over the last week or so, and we have two gentlemen in the United States that really have a desire to help Ukraine in a big way, where they feel that their larger donations will get to the front. And we've had two donations already to initiate this project that have come in for $80,000. This is a
It's not too
200
shabby.
no, this is a $200,000 project. We've already raised $80,000 before we even made it public. It's awesome. So, when we were
It
doing the
is.
research this week, and that's Dr. Gerdes and Pastor Kent and these investors, they asked me, Greg, could you get some information from a frontline soldier, medic, engineer, commander, talking about these vehicles that we have found in the UK? And I did. So now you're going to hear Pete talking about these vehicles, and you're going to see some photos and information go across. This is what we're going to be doing.
Greg, this is incredible. You know, I've been praying for vehicles and wishing for vehicles for a long time, um, and making quotes for vehicles, and we've had no bites. And all of a sudden, you and some wealthy gentleman in the UK all reach out to us at the same time about exactly the same subject. Um, so we've got so Ben is with us. He's friends with the guy from Tanks a Lot. A wealthy donor reached out to Tanks a Lot and said, I want to donate to Ukraine. He suggested Ben, who's with PK, and that ball is busy rolling. That same gentleman has asked us if we would like a couple of snatches as a start and a couple of quad bikes as a start. And he's going to try and fill it with several night vision and thermal images. And some kamikaze and surveillance drones. I don't know the numbers that he's offering, but he's offering. We were speaking yesterday. Sorry, cats are driving me nuts. We were speaking with this guy. His name is Nick. He's the owner of Tanks a Lot. And he was giving us a video walkthrough of his vehicles. The Snatchers are ideal because not only is the cab is fully armored, but the rear is fully. So the front cab, the driver's cab is fully armored with armored glass, but the whole rear of it has been it's Kevlar, so it's bulletproof. It's armored. An elephant gun cannot go through it. They tested it. So just without opening these links, which I can't do now because I'm driving in a convoy, these snatches are ideal. And I love you for asking. When an airliner crashes, it's very sad and it's horrible news. But you get executives sitting around a table hashing out the agreements of how much is one life worth, how many millions are we going to pay through our insurance company for each life lost. And that is a serious thing, and it needs to be addressed. But what if you had $200,000 and you could save multiple lives over and over and over again? We're talking about Greg Terry and our YouTube Allies project for raising $200,000 to buy armored Land Rovers. They're called Snatchers because they snatch people from the brink of death. We run a Mitsubishi Shogun with Kevlar blankets stapled to the side. And we've got a drone jammer, kindly donated by Harry Est and One Team One Fight. Thank you again, Harry and Dima and One Team One Fight. But we are defenseless against killer drones. Please help us. And thank you once again for joining this incredible venture to help us save more lives.
So, I mean, there you have it.
I had such a range of emotions watching that. Like, wow, goosebumps, this is awesome. Two, like, he shouldn't have to be raising money on the front lines, like while he's on the front lines doing that. Three, how can he be doing this in a regular vehicle with Kevlar? Like, I mean, it's just, it's almost mind numbing. Four, when you get there, how many lives will be saved by this? I mean, it's just like all these things simultaneously were grabbing me. I don't know about you.
I I called Pete just a little while ago. I said, Pete, I've made a 2-minute video, and Dr. Gerdes and I are going to be preparing the initial appeal to the world. I need a 60-second video from you. You just sit
Mhm.
down and talk at the back of your vehicle, and just to make that comparison between a crashed airliner and then move it to the value of a life and how many lives can $200,000 save? And
Yeah.
with the global community, I am so confident we're going to raise this money very quickly, and we will get these vehicles into Ukraine. This is a desperate need because
Mhm.
Ukraine is struggling even now for their mobilization and to maintain their soldier count. And man, how good will it be to know that we're having a part in saving people's lives.
Yep.
Listen, every day. In that video, I didn't edit it any. I wanted you to hear the sound of the road and the bumps as he was driving and talking. And then you could hear him say, "Well, I'm in a convoy. I can't stop now." These guys go nonstop. The least we can do is come together as a community, and we'll continue projects. But right now, we're going to focus on $200,000 and getting 3 snatches to the front line. Now, logistically, let me set everyone at ease. Our nonprofit in Pennsylvania, and Dr. Gerdes has been on this, and a gentleman that is so involved from San Diego, California. Very, very smart man, well connected, and just
Mhm.
cares about Ukraine. So this is not some fly by night. We've been researching, we've been communicating even with Department of Defense people in the US and different resources to know that we're looking at the right company, the right vehicles, and we are 100% confident, or we would not make this appeal public. We're ready. Not only that, our nonprofit there, Pastor Ken, is the liaison communicating with the company in Great Britain. They've already communicated. We have all the logistics in place. We know the down payment that is needed. We know how they will be transported into Ukraine legally. This is probably the faster we can raise the money, the faster we can initiate the transfer process. That typically will take for export, and we will use a third party company, between 4 to 6 weeks. It'll come into Ukraine. What happens then? It will be received by our nonprofit organization. Our lawyer has already done all the paperwork. We're ready. We're ready just to raise the money, buy the vehicles, ship them here. And guys, when they come, they do not have to be repaired. They're low mileage. They will be completely serviced and ready to go with everything. In addition to that, we will be adding, and this is a part of the $200,000 price, the latest and greatest anti-drone units for each of those 3 vehicles. We will be adding
Awesome.
the best night vision possible so they can stay alive driving in the dark. And we will be adding a double winch system on the front and on the back. So if something happens, they're alone, they can actually get their vehicle pulled out of a ditch, pulled out of a hole, and get themselves rolling again. We're going to deliver the best possible. And finally, and I'll throw it back to you, Dr. Gerdes, I will be back in Ukraine, and I will personally, Zhenya will personally, and one more guy will personally drive those right to the front.
So when we were starting this in December, you were an unknown entity. It was kind of a crapshoot, and who is this guy? What has he done before? Do we trust him? But now you can go back over the last 10 days and see all the goods that were delivered to Pennsylvania being delivered to the front
Well,
line.
two
You
months,
can
go back to
look.
Christmas. Yeah.
I'm just saying the
Hmm.
big stuff
Yes.
landed over the last
Hmm.
10 days. That's, you've been doing this
Hmm.
thing since Christmas, or since just after New Year's. You doing
Yeah.
drop after drop after drop, but they can go back and they can see it for themselves that things are actually being delivered. So we're doing it again, and we're doing it bigger than we ever imagined that we would be doing. We didn't think that the first round was going to be as big as it was, but now we're like, well, let's think, how can we help even more? So here's how we're doing it. We didn't think that we were going to be adopting a battalion, or right. I mean, we
Yeah.
just didn't even think in those terms back at Christmas, but now we're thinking big. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Think about it, pray about it. If you
Hmm.
feel that you're moved to give, all the information is going to be below this video. You can find it on my channel. You can find it on Greg's channel. You will find Johnny Pierce talking about it. You will find Rick the Ukrainian talking about it. You'll find Warthog Defense talking about it. It's all the same
I'll be
project.
talking about it with Mercado. We'll be talking about it
Mercado,
with
right?
Starsky. Listen, we're coming together. This is life, not changing, life saving. And
Mhm.
just so you guys know, you may ask the question, well, where will these go? Well, we will put 2 on the front lines in the very east with Project Konstantin and their units. And then Professor Gerdes talked about the battalion we adopted. It was a new battalion that was ill equipped, and due to your generosity, we fully equipped them, and we are continuing. I will be dropping more stuff to them in just a few days, but we also will provide them with the third armored vehicle to really outfit their medic. So it's
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean,
It's awesome.
it's great stuff.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's all that we need to understand. Like, look, if you can give, give. If you can't give, that's okay. Share this, spread
Yes.
this as far and wide as you can to anybody who cares about Ukraine, because that's another way of magnifying the effect. And we thank you in advance for being willing to do that. We thank you for those of you who have participated in the last round. What, like, again, with this or with the gauze and the tourniquets, you never know how many lives you're going to be saving, and so this you just won't know what effect you've been able to have.
And I think finally, people that have been with us since the very beginning, especially through your channel, Gerdes, and then others, and then mine as they found me, we were doing campaigns where a certain number means a certain thing. A five, you end your donation in a one. So you guys, most of you, unless you're new, that's how we've done it in the past. But starting from right now, until we raise that money, your donations, unless for some reason something's in your heart and you were to earmark it in a note and say, listen, you know,
Right.
please, this is in my heart to do that, then we will do that for you to the best of our ability. But if you are just donating through the secure link, and both are nonprofit, so in the description, you go to gregterry.org/donate. It links you directly to our nonprofit where we receive donations to the 501c3 via PayPal or via direct giving. You guys are using it every day, so it works perfectly and it's secure. Everything that comes in is going to go to this project unless otherwise notated.
Okay. So that's where we are. We'll keep you updated regularly about our progress, just little brief snippets, a
Hmm.
couple minutes each to show you where we are and how much has come in and that sort of thing.
Every
So
day.
I'll keep you informed. Greg will keep you informed. You'll see this on Johnny, and you'll see
Hmm.
this on Brick, and you'll see this on Mercado. You'll see it everywhere. Okay. This is a joint effort. We're all behind it, and to the degree that you can be part of it, we welcome you. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time, and thank you.
Yeah, and every
Go
day,
ahead.
Dr. G, I will be I have a graphic built from my broadcast guy, the thermometer
Mhm.
with the numbers going up. And once we initiate it on my next stream, the thermometer will be there and it will stay there until we fill it. And for me, I have zero doubts this is going to happen. What's a joy for me is to watch the goodness of the world and the goodness of people, no matter their background, their country, whatever, come together. I believe it's going to happen surprisingly fast. Now, secondly, this reminds me, if you are giving and you're giving from a nation that you may say, well, I want you to know I'm donating this from Ecuador. Great. Please email me through my website, click contact, because we want to continue to color in our map for the nations that have donated. And we're now at 42. So thank you guys. Thank you, Dr. G.
So I almost always end my videos by being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine. And Greg on his ends with Slava Ukraini and
Geroim Slava.